Tonight, I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care. Mandating every American to buy government-approved health insurance was never the right solution for our country. The way to make health insurance available to everyone is to lower the cost of health insurance, and that is what we are going to do. Obamacare is collapsing, and we must act decisively to protect all Americans. Action is not a choice, it is a necessity. So I am calling on all Democrats and Republicans in Congress to work with us to save Americans from this imploding Obamacare disaster.
All right, that was President Trump earlier tonight saying that Obamacare must be repealed and replaced. Now, for years, Republicans have been promising you, the American people, they would do just that if given the opportunity. Well, now they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. No excuses. Now, on this show, we have been holding Washington accountable as a new segment, and we're doing just that. Joining us now with reaction are four GOP lawmakers: Virginia Congressman Dave Brat, North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, and Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. The prior three are members of the Freedom Caucus. You have an announcement.
All right.
They just invited you into their caucus.
We have talked, and I've
negotiated a deal.
Joining the Freedom Caucus.
All right, so Louie, you're in.
Yeah, you brokered the deal.
I brokered the deal, and you got, that means you got a car coming, American made, of course.
Yeah, a little nice. Invited in too, you know.
Well, I appreciate it. I do. Listen, I had an interview, as you all know, with the Speaker, and I since even had a conversation with the Speaker. He committed to me on this show that he supports the entire Trump agenda that the president spoke about tonight, and that he can get this done legislatively with a cushion built in 200 days. Yeah. Okay. You guys are worried you haven't seen the repeal and replace bill. All four of you have told me that. What are you worried about, and what did you think of Speaker Gingrich saying that he's going to put all these things in a box and it's going to be adjusted after it gets scored?
Well,
whose member goes first?
I got to see the bill before I can agree to anything. I'm kind of anal like that. I'd like to read the bill. You remember 2010? We all said, if you elect us, you give us the majority, we will read the bills. So, you know, back actually in 2014, Boehner had a bill that was going to be really a border enforcement bill. And when we finally got the bill 2 days before we were going to vote on it, it was a de facto amnesty bill, but you had to read very carefully. So it's important to read the bill.
Congressman Jordan?
Yeah, what we've heard about the leaked bill that's coming from leadership is it says we're going to repeal Obamacare, except we're going to keep the Medicaid expansion. It said we're going to repeal Obamacare, except we're going to keep tax increases. And it said we're going to repeal Obamacare, except we're going to start this new entitlement called refundable tax credits. So that's not repealed. So what we've said is be real basic, real simple. Put on President Trump's desk the exact same language we put on President Obama's desk. We all
repeal. You want a repealed bill.
Repeal, but then a separate bill replaced.
At the same time?
Same time, but two different pieces of legislation.
So, because there's a danger, because within Obamacare, Congressman Meadows, there is the discretion of the Health and Human Services Secretary that would, if it's not repealed, if there's another Obama like the president, he would have that discretion to put it back. Right.
Well, and I think that's why we have to have a full repeal, Sean. Really, when we're looking at this, Secretary Price, I trust him to do the right thing. He's a good man and was a colleague. But at the same time, we've got to make sure that we actually repeal it. We don't partially repeal it and partially replace it. And that's why it's critical that we get it right. I think we are all in agreement, whether it's moderates or conservatives, that we've got to repeal this thing and we've got to replace it for
in fairness, I asked Congressman Brat, I asked the Speaker if he's having regular conversations. Apparently, I guess you guys, as a caucus, you meet once or twice a week. Yeah. He said yes, he wants you. He mentioned you guys specifically and Louie that he wants to meet. Why are you laughing? John Boehner wouldn't even talk to you.
Oh yeah, he had something to say about me.
By the way, Louie Gohmert was so kind. He gave me the seat in the gallery tonight to watch.
You were so gracious. I mean, I looked up there, and people were coming from all over the gallery to shake Sean Hannity's hand. It was really nice.
You invited me in 2014 to see Obama. It was a much better night.
Which was better. You thought
it was a much better night. But as I said earlier, he says he wants to reach out to you. Yeah. But all of you individually seem skeptical. Why?
Well, because we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. So Obamacare, right? You had to pass the bill before you know what's in it. So that's number one. And number two, we have 300 million people in this country we care about, right? So we don't want to worry about the insurance companies, the big insurers, and talk about an insurance problem. You hit it right in our bill, Sanford in the House, and then Rand Paul on the Senate side. What we have to do is bend the cost curve down. We haven't done that, right? Everybody's premiums out there are going up 20% still. So the first thing you got to do is inject free market economics into this. And we were talking about that. Grants, HSA.
But Paul Ryan reiterated that too with healthcare savings accounts, portability. We can now, believe it or not, it's illegal right now if you want it at a catastrophic plan, which is insane for a young person.
They're mentioning those as talking shopping across state lines, but it's not the driving force, right? And so if you're worried, when those insurance guys walked into the White House, they were looking at their shoe leather because they were embarrassed about the product that was coming our way. I think they knew it. It was a trade of 18 million more customers, and they would get covered, and they'd make some money. But they knew that it was going to be a death spiral system in the long run that could lead to, just national health care.
Health care is a big issue. I guess we got to see the bill scored. You guys have your bill along with Rand Paul. Here's the big picture for me. If the president is able to change the tax code from 7 brackets to 3, give us a 15% corporate tax, allow repatriation for multinational corporations, trillions that are parked overseas, they invest in factories, manufacturing centers here in America. If we become energy independent, it'll be like a tax cut if we do get rid of Obamacare. The economy I see growing and flourishing. Can all of that get done?
Economic renaissance.
You really?
I really believe it.
So millions of Americans out of work in poverty on food stamps get out of poverty, back to work.
Well, and it's jobs. It's not just small, low-paying jobs. It's great jobs. And when you start to see a 4% or a 4.5% GDP growth, all of a sudden, I mean, it would be unbelievable. But the president knocked the ball out of the park tonight. I mean, he's delivering on his promises. We've been waiting for this city to do that, and the president's doing it.
Okay, so it really is going to come down to Congress. Are you guys confident?
Our task is real simple. We make it way too complicated around here. Do what we told the voters we were going to do. President Trump gave that kind of speech tonight. He says now it's time to deliver on the things he promised the American people. We promised the American people that we would secure the border, build the wall.
I could be like a peace negotiator because I feel like I'm talking to groups that say the same thing, but you guys aren't communicating.
Well, there's one plan out there, Sean. There's one plan out there right now in health care that does exactly what we told the voters we were going to do. Repeal it and replace. No, not we haven't had ours scored, but we know it'll score better than theirs. We know that.
You guys communicating?
We're meeting. We are, and we're meeting with him tomorrow morning. Actually,
okay.
Talk about all kinds of things.
Right.
So, and healthcare will be first on the.
Because he said he wants to reach out to you, all of you.
We got a meeting tomorrow morning.
And what about his promise that he thinks he can get it done in 200 days?
We better.
We've got to get it done with
Got to get it done.
And by the way, there are people that keep saying, Sean and Mr. President, you got to understand, we're limited in what we can do in trying to repeal it because we're doing it through this mechanism that doesn't allow us to completely repeal. But, Sean, this is exactly what we did in 2015, back when we did it in 2015.
So that's a good point. So you have Congressman Meadows?
Yeah, I think the real key is in the first 200 days, it can't just be about Obamacare repeal and replacement. It's got to be tax reform. It's got to be strengthening our military. It's got to be
everything
the
the president said
everything
tonight.
you talked about in the first 200 days. If it doesn't get done then, it's not going to get done.
Okay,
and so we're committed to do that.
The Speaker says he supports it. You guys say they support it. Maybe it's just me, but I've had a sense of urgency my whole life. What is this? You guys got a week off last week. What is that?
For the last 6 years, we said we're going to repeal Obamacare.
Right.
American people like you are going to wake up with a heart attack if we replace Obamacare with Obamacare Light. Then they're going to say.
You worried about that?
Yes, I'm worried about that. And then they're going to say.
They have the heart attack. They won't have good health care to take care of them.
And they're going to say that's not a repeal. You did not repeal a nationally, federally run health care system that's clogging the arteries.
Is it unrealistic for conservatives like me to wish that you guys could move at the speed of Trump? Is that unrealistic?
No, we should be moving it. And what you said is bipartisan. JFK % real growth. Then Reagan comes in, does the tax cuts, you get 5% real growth. So it's not. We're not making this up. We can.
And you brought it up with Newt last night. They got the contract with America done in 100 days.
Right. Yeah. But he actually said tonight that this was a bigger, bolder agenda. Which, by the way, I believe that.
I agree.
If this happens.
Yeah.
I think the country's in a precipitous decline. I think if we don't do these things, and that's why I wanted Donald Trump to be president, that's why I'm so happy tonight. He reiterated his promises. He's keeping his word. I just want Congress to do it. You guys are committed to doing it.
Sean, the part I like most about the speech is at the start when he said, America's ready to lead.
That's right.
That set an entirely
Democrats
different
sat on their hands.
They sure did. But think about the framework that we've been used to with President Obama, leading from behind the Iran deal, his lack of relationship with our best ally, Israel. That set the tone.
I got to say goodbye. Louie's a new member of the Freedom Caucus. You guys going to have drinking and celebrating. All right, have a good time.
All right, thanks, Sean.